Hey, Teacher Thoughts here, coming at you with another video. Well, the greenhouse is covered now. There's a few more things that I do have to wrap up. I've got a video coming later on that'll show the installation of the poly sheeting that we have over the top. But what we need to do now is we actually need to put our benches in here. So this is where our plants are actually going to rest. And I'm going to try to shoot a brief video on this. I've got one underway, and I'll show you how to set up the next one. So with the benches, the first thing you need to know is kind of where you're going to position those. So how high up is the bench going to be? So for me, I want it to be about waist height because I'm going to be working on the top of my plants. And they're going to be in gallon containers and 4-inch containers, so they're going to be a little bit higher. So the measurement I decided for myself and my body height is going to be 32 inches, which is going to give me plenty of room to put other things in this greenhouse as we go. Because come spring, we're going to have 4 baskets, maybe more overhead, and we want to have plenty of space between the top of the bench and where the baskets are going to be hanging. So what we're going to use for the main part of our bench for our support is going to be these fencing brackets. They're designed to hold a 2x4. They screw into the back, screw into the side, screw into the bottom, and then that is designed to hold your board. These are specifically for horizontal use. So this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to grab a tape measure. We'll measure up 32 inches, put our first bracket in, and then we'll start working on our bench. As always, going to add in some hearing protection. Now that we've got it in closed, this greenhouse does get a little bit noisier. And to evenly space it, I'm going to go off the bottom of our greenhouse. And I'm going to come up 32 inches, and that's going to be the top of my bracket. I'm going to put these right next to the door. So this is where I'm going to be working, so I don't really have to worry about accommodating others. This is all for me. So we'll put our bracket there, we'll add a couple of screws, and then it'll be secure. Again, using a painted Torx, making sure it's one that's long enough to hold, but not so long that it pokes through the other side of our wood. Not that it would really matter, because this is a double 2x4 on this side. Okay, there's one. And here's 2. The next thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you have a board that is going to fit in between this bracket and one on the opposing wall. So don't just measure to the surface of the wood. You do need to measure to the surface of the screws because they are going to stick out a little bit more and your boards need to slide past that. So let's go ahead and put one of those boards in. I have one of my boards all cut to length, so what I'll do first is I'll slide it into one end. I can lift it up over, slide it into the next, and we've got a nice tight connection here. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my screws. Again, same painted screws. Make sure you don't lose them in the bottom of your greenhouse. If you go barefoot, you don't want to step on them. Headphone warning. There's one on the side, one on the bottom. And the screw on this side is up here, this one's down here, so we'll go ahead and put this one in too. We're going to repeat that process for all of our boards. So we have one in the front, so we'll secure this one here, we'll secure it on the other end. We have a board in the back, and we'll secure it in the same locations, making sure that it's all measured to fit for our width, and then we're going to put our fencing wire over the top of it. So what we need to do is measure in between our two boards and make sure that our measurement is about where we want. So we're about 2 3/8 inch, 2 foot 3/8 inch across in between two boards. We'll measure both sides to make sure we're even, and then we'll figure out our spacing on the wire. Looks like the structure does get a little bit narrower down here. That's okay. So we're going to still figure it at that 2 foot 3/8 inch, or 24 inches and 3/8. So we'll go ahead and move outside where we can figure that fencing wire and get it cut. Oh, we need one more measurement. One more measurement. We probably want to do the length. So we're going to come all the way down here. Looks like 92.5 inches, or 7 foot 8 inches is that length. So that's what we'd be cutting to. All right, let's go outside where it's a bit cooler. Okay, on our fencing wire, I did some remeasuring there, and I do want to go all the way to the end of the walls. So 99 inches is going to be where we're going to actually figure to. So I'm going to come in just a little bit, so I have a little bit of a gap in between my sidewalls. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to leave one of my lateral supports in here. And this is 1 inch by 2 inch animal fencing. I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut as close as I can to that so that I don't have sharp edges sticking out. I'm going to go all way across the metal. Okay, get that out of the way. So our measurement was 24 inches and 3/8 of an inch, but I want to make sure I can wrap this around the front and have some place that I can tuck the tails around so it's not going to poke or snag me. So I'm actually going to come all the way from 24 all the way up to 28 inches, and I'm going to cut right in the middle of that so I have something to wrap the tails around. So I'll show you how that goes. In case you didn't catch it earlier, this is 1 inch by 2 inch animal fencing. It's a galvanized metal. This particular roll is probably older than me. It's more extra supplies coming off the farm. It's what we used to use for benchtop material in our retail establishment, or our wholesale nursery. Excuse me, in our grow facility for our retail sales nursery that we had. So I'm going to keep cutting on this, and I'll check back with you. All right, here's our fencing wire, and it's gonna be a little long, which is what I planned for. So I'm gonna roll it backwards, position it in here, and then we're gonna start cutting it to fit. All right, so we've got it in here. It's kind of about where we want it, not really. There we go. Now we're gonna need to put some notches to go around these 2x4s, because I want to be able to use every square inch of this greenhouse for growing. So I'm going to cut out a couple little squares, and then we should be able to fit it in tighter. And while you're working on this, beware of these sharp edges. You know, you've got them pointed out towards you. They are going to wrap around down around the bottom, and I'm actually going to use them kind of as nails, so to speak. But until we get them all wrapped up, we do need to make sure that we're not snagging ourselves on them. Okay, let me see how this goes. I'm probably going to take 4 of these squares out. I don't have to do much. I think I could be okay just taking this. That's what I took out on that one. And then I'm going to do the same here. Looks like I need to go this way. There's that one. Yes, I will clean these all up. All right, now I can bring my wire forward. I think I'm gonna cut off this extra bit here because I'm not gonna put a pot out there. So this can come off. In case you're wondering, yes, you are probably going to cut yourself while doing this. Pretty much an inevitability. Just a part of the process. Well, I'll just remove those. Okay, there's that part. We'll fit this one in just the same. I think we're gonna go ahead and cut here. We'll try 2 of them at first, and then we'll move up if we have to. There's that one. I'll get the one in the back. We can remove this extra here. Just go ahead and get rid of that. Make sure you pick those up. Those can be something nasty to put your foot on. The next part's going to get a little loud. We're going to take some U staples. Just some fencing staples. These are maybe 3/4 of an inch long. They're designed for holding in fencing. We're going to tack this down along the back, and then we'll start adjusting the front. All right, so we've got the back all tacked down. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the front, and then we're going to bend this down and around so that we have a nice edge that we're not snagging ourselves on. Snagged myself a couple of times while I was working on that, and this will just help solve that problem. So I'm going to go ahead and tack this down. I'm going to start in the center on this one and then push all the material out to the ends. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and bend this fencing wiring carefully around the bottom side of the bench. It's going to give us a little bit more strength, and also it's going to keep this sharp edge from being anything that I'll snag on while I'm working. So I'm just going to work with this claw hammer, and I'm going to just bend these down as I go. I just have to hit on the wires. That's one option. The other option is we can come in with a 2x4 and bend a lot at once. Do it incrementally. I'm going to bend these down and around. I'll do this by hand. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to keep going. I'm going to kind of do this off camera where I mold this around the bottom side. And I may go through and cut all of these spines off, but there's 99 of them, so I don't really want to do that. Actually, it might be... Okay, so there's like 92 of them because we cut a few of them off, but I don't want to do that on camera. But anyway, you do kind of the same thing. You'll take the fencing staples, come down around the front, you'll pound those in to hold that board down there. Tuck this around the bottom and make sure that it's out of your way, that it's underneath the board, that you're not going to snag on it. But this fencing wire will hold a significant amount of weight. I will say when I was a kid, I used to walk on them with about this much spacing. So by the time you see it next, there will be plants on top of it. But this is the fence or the bench material we use because we want to have an open material that allows good airflow, which is going to reduce chances of having pests build up where we can't see them, and also any other issues like blights or funguses or other things like that. It'll improve our air circulation. It also helps with our heat and our cooling. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing this. This is going to be a real quick video on the benches. I can shoot another one on the other bench when we do that, see if I perfect that. But anyway, I thank you very much for subscribing. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you learned something. Ag Teacher Thoughts out.